worked. Look at that. Hello. Hello, stream.
Hello.
Um, we didn't get to. Devin was just on another stream, and so we didn't get to test as much as we have before, and it worked. It worked right away. I'm like shocked.
Yeah, I'm glad things didn't like mess up too severely. like,
How we doing? Anybody from the stream? What was that channel called again?
the Spiral Labs, it's Martyr Rose and Queer Vengeance. So those are two like kind of autism, ADHD people. So we were just, I think we're supposed to be talking about like design for neurodivergence, but we mostly ended up just talking about unmasking and unmasking at the doctor and all kinds of things for a while. So that was nice.
It's there's a lot to talk about in that space. So
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of a lifetime project, but
so yeah.
Hello, Mallory.
If you are from that stream, say hello. If this is your first stream, say
Yeah,
hello.
yeah, yeah. Oh, wow, we just jumped up to 33 viewers. Damn. Okay. Hello, everyone. Okay. Let me hit this horse here just to see what it does. Oh yeah, here he is.
Here, let
Here's
me
my
go
beautiful
over to
pet
that.
horse. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I can't see my my own thing, so
Which one is it? There we go.
I don't know if I can move this horse. No.
So what is this?
This is a thing, and Eric, Six Word Story, if he's here, he just gifted this to me on Tumblr. Um, you pay like 2.99 or something like that to like give someone this little horse. It's like a Tamagotchi. Oh, look, I can see I can pet him, and then he gives me love.
That's
You can
amazing.
also you can also pay 2.99 or something to like give people crabs. Um,
I could do that for free.
crabs can be acquired for free. And so then you just pet the little horse, and I think it'll poop eventually, just like a
Oh my god.
Tamagotchi. Um,
Did you ever watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
oh my god, yes.
I'm just
Meatwad,
yes.
fucking, and the little 8-bit guys. I loved those guys. The like,
Yes. Oh, I don't remember their names. Shout out Aqua Teen Hunger Force if you know their names, because we don't.
yeah.
Um,
Oh
the
man, they were
Mooninites.
my favorites. The Mooninites, yes.
Yes.
And they were just so like Machiavellian and cute. Like they were always my favorites. Oh look, my horse just took a shit. Let me see if I can like click it to like clean it up.
Oh. Um,
There we go.
but there's some. It might be the movie where Carl, their neighbor, gets like a car with a giant display on it. He's like, yeah, it's supposed to say up for grabs, but it says up for crabs. And I feel like that's what Tumblr accounts need, is just a big banner that says up for crabs. If
I'm yes, I'm up for crabs. Give me the crab. Cause yeah, cause then you could consent for followers to like gift you crabs. Um, but the way it works now is you just get a little like circle in the corner saying you have a gift, and then you click on it, and it could be you get a month free with no ads on your dashboard, which I just gave Eric in return for sending me crabs. Or it's just like you have crabs for the next 24 hours.
She kind of reminds me of the Reddit April Fool stuff. Oh, I didn't even think about that until now. I should have like read. I'll pull up a link or something that so I can remember what all of those were. But Reddit does cool April Fools type stuff where I mean originally they were pranks, but sort of, but like in the past like 5 or more years they've been less like pranks and more just like weird experiments. I think the one that I think it was last year that they did it was like this giant pixel art thing that everyone contributed to, where it was like you could click up and color one pixel on this giant like canvas, um, and but you could only do it like once every 20 seconds or something like that. So whole
Mm.
communities had to come together to like make art and then defend it from other people, like other communities trying to like expand theirs. It was really cool.
Oh, I remember that. I think, yeah, yeah, because you had to like kind of claim your territory, but people could like color over it potentially, like if you didn't have like you're like a coordinated thing going on, right?
Yes. Here I'll try and get a thing. Oh yeah. Yes, I am Madam President. I am Miss Joe Biden, government official. My actual name is Madeline for everybody.
Is my Jordan Peterson thing up right now too?
No, which
Or
one
no?
is that?
No.
So I can also
The-
introduce. We're like okay. The technology of this stream is gonna. This stream at its heart is a technological test bed, just like Ukraine is right now. Ugh, dark joke. Um, but so this is my beautiful MIDI keyboard that I now am basically like. This controls the stream. So which one? Yeah, this is this keyboard controls the stream. So yeah, this is your this is
my
the
woke moralist button.
yeah this is this. So now it says Dr. Jordan B. Peterson on yours.
It's official. It's verified.
And can you just like I don't know call me out like try and cancel me?
Oh God. Oh, what for? Oh, jeez. I don't know. I need to be on way more cocaine than I currently am. I need to be on way more barbiturates.
we'll just go ahead with the
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
Can you hear that?
It's hard. No, I can't hear it.
Oh no.
But maybe the stream can.
Stream
Madeline
tell me if you can
President.
hear that. The stream should be able to. Let me make it so you can hear that.
Okay, people can hear it. Good.
Okay, good.
Can people see that my horse died?
Oh, here.
This is the
Now they
problem with postmodernism. We're not taking care of our dependents. We're so distracted by technology that we're not feeding our Tamagotchi horses.
This is the problem
Wake
with
up.
social media.
It says a lot about society. You know, you have to clean your bed and feed your horse first before you can start posting whole on Tumblr again. And I think, you know, it just really goes to show.
Can you hear that bloop?
Yes.
Okay. Now you should be able to.
Oh, F in the chat. Okay, remember my dad. Let's see what happens. Okay.
Up
He looked
yours,
for
woke moralists. Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
We'll see, buddy.
And in this particular one, it takes over. You could see the stream right on through Discord, right?
No, because I'm just screen sharing, so I kind of can't see.
Oh, you
like...
can't see me when you screen share. I did not realize that. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one downside.
Okay. Well, we'll fix that next time. But
Yeah.
But at the moment, so Jordan Peterson comes up in different spots every time, and depending on what screen we're on. But right now,
Up yours,
he takes over your face.
up yours, woke.
And also it stops when I pick the key up, so it's
Toronto.
yeah. I need to get that.
All right, now listen.
All right, now listen.
Oh my god. Oh my god. So everyone, this stream is about social media. The anti-horse left doesn't want to hear it. Yeah, you know, we used to move things through our own power and through just moving meat. You know,
Our
I
streets
think probably
used to be covered in horse shit. And the
Up yours, woke moralists.
don't want our streets to be covered in horse shit anymore. It's cancel culture.
these electric cars, you know what? You can't eat an electric car, but you can eat a horse and nothing but horse for the whole rest of your life to cure your. What does he think that eating meat cures?
I don't
everything.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. He has his whole meat diet that like cured his daughter's Crohn's or something. I don't know how to make my horse
Didn't it
not
make
die.
him really sick too? I don't know.
Yeah, but then he also had himself put in a coma to help him get off barbiturates. He was like
Yes.
just like easy mode. Well, but then that almost killed him because you don't want to just generally be in a coma for no reason. But
Right. Um,
mm,
okay. So I did plan. So this is about social media. It's a really,
yes.
really in-depth stream about social media. So
Hmm.
I have a. I didn't realize you wouldn't be able to see this, but the. Oh, here, I guess. Oh, we.
If I change my share screen to just be sharing just the window, I can try that right now and see. That'll probably fix it. So I'm gonna wait. Yeah, stop streaming, and then okay, now I can see.
Okay. You so you can see, but when you see, you're not really on the stream, which is my fault. Yeah,
Whoa.
that's perfect. Um, we're gonna figure this out. So this is
We got it.
this is a very
I can.
important so this sort of like that's perfect. So
Yes.
this
Got it.
Devin hasn't seen this. I don't think. Do you recognize this? So
No, I
this
don't know this man.
this is Lance Reddick. I'm sure here you probably know this man. You probably just don't notice him nude and reclining.
Oh yeah.
I most know him from being on the Eric Andre show going, I wish I was LeVar Burton. I'm pretty sure that was Lance Reddick. I didn't check, but I'm pretty sure that was him. But I just had this come up on my computer without knowing what it was. And I thought this really sort of introduces what we're going to talk about and sort of on today's stream. So let's just watch this wonderful video.
Hi all. I am a human being, and as such, on occasion, well, I can be petty. So, in the spirit of that, I'm going to read you a headline from a news article, and then I'm going to read you the beginning of that article because, well, it
His
is
voice is so
delicious.
good.
From the Washington Post, the headline reads, Elon Musk's first big Twitter product paused after fake accounts spread. Twitter on Thursday night pressed pause on Elon Musk's first major product launch, a paid-for blue checkmark, after misinformation flooded the site. Twitter rolled out Twitter Blue on Wednesday, letting users who provided an Apple ID and a phone number pay $7.99 a month to attain verification. Previously, that badge was only available to people when the company had verified their identity, often public figures and brands. Almost immediately, users started taking advantage of the new tool. Accounts were created impersonating politicians, including President Biden, and celebrities, as well as other notable people. Several also surfaced purporting to be brands announcing fake news. Wow. Who on earth could have anticipated that this would happen?
Literally
I
anyone
don't
that's
think
been
I
on the
need to know.
internet.
Yeah.
You all keep on smiling. Because, well, I know I will.
Yes.
I just
Oh my god. Oh, he's still cackling. Look what I've read.
Love you, buddy. Love you.
Oh, okay. So that
Oh
that
my
is really the
God.
energy that we are bringing into this. Is that
Yes.
we love to see rich idiots fail.
We love mess. And this, for some reason, it just made me think of that you might not know, Maddie, as someone who wasn't like a core Tumblr person. The Hank Green. First of all, it used to be possible on Tumblr to edit anyone else's post. So if you reblogged someone's post, you could edit it and change it. And so there was this like viral post from like Hank Green, you know, and so
Noted
people edited
femboy,
it to
a thing I've learned recently.
That photo is jarring. We just keep finding out all of these people used to be femboys, like Aaron Paul and shit. It's crazy. But like,
Yeah.
they edited it to say like, cock is one of my favorite, like balls are one of my favorite tastes. I love the smell. I go a little bit crazy on it, to be honest. Like, it's just really like long. And Hank Green, being like the upstanding, nerd fighter, whatever figure that he was, he reblogged it, of people making it look like he said that he loved the smell and taste of balls, and he was like, "Oh, it was John Green. It wasn't Hank. Thank you." And he was like,
They're the
"Oh,
same
is
person.
this
I don't believe the conspiracies. They're
the
the
boys?
same.
The boys, yeah,
The Greens.
the boys, the Greens." And he said, like, "Is this supposed to be funny to imagine that I might be gay?" Like, it's not funny. Like, it's a beautiful thing, like, it's a beautiful thing to love the taste and smell of balls. And it was like, he's got the right spirit, but it just was so, like, we want you to be mad, John Green, please.
But I feel like I don't know. Is that how you have to act? I don't know what the right. I think playing along probably would have been the better thing, but especially then, I feel like you can't play along with like any. I don't know, man. That's a whole
I
discussion.
I think it comes down to like sincerity, and so like at that point and in that context, being too sincere was like cringe, and that's part of why people were making fun of him, because he would write these things that were like super sincere but also super annoying, where he'd be like, "Listen, nerd girls are the most underutilized resource in the dating pool. We need to appreciate our nerdy queens." And it was like, this is kind of weird,
Yeah.
man.
Is
It's
it?
like the Lin-Manuel Miranda effect.
Yes, I was also thinking of that. There's some tweet that's like a screenshot. I guess of a Latina character in the new DuckTales, and the guy's going like, "Look at this, Latinx queen,
Sassy Latina, yeah, like, yeah.
ready to
Animate Psychos talked about it.
yeah, ready to like destroy a man with a look," and it's just like from a white person, is my understanding, and it's just like, and then that was a person that like wrote for the show too, like you created this Latina person, and now you're so proud of yourself for.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's exactly the same as John Green being like, "Oh, in The Fault in Our Stars, she kisses the boy, like the girl kisses the boy, and I was just so proud of myself for that." And everyone was like, "Oh my God, jerk off motion," like, great. But anyway, all suffice to say, Tumblr has proven you can't trust people with the ability to impersonate someone, because
Yeah.
it will be used.
Yeah.
It will be used for evil. God. But
So it's just like, yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know, basically, Elon Musk rolls out Twitter Blue, which lets you buy a check mark, right? And this is just like, I think that the thing that sums it up for me is really like, check marks are not a revenue stream. They are Twitter's only asset. Like, Twitter is actually like a very tiny like social media site, like, per user. Like Facebook and Instagram and basically every other social media site is way larger like in users. It's really just that they have all of these check marks that legitimize Twitter, and every single reporter has a verified Twitter, and every government official has a verified Twitter, and so that is like, and so it's like you're not monetizing a revenue stream, you are like gonna kill literally your one asset.
right. Yeah. Yeah, Pew did a poll, and Twitter is 20% of Americans' most used social media site and 90% of journalists' most used
Yeah.
social media site.
Yep.
And that's part of why I'm so glad it's dying. Like, I understand it's gonna be a growing pain for like sex workers who use the platform to find clients, and
Yep.
artists, and I don't mean to like downgrade that, but like journalists have been treating Twitter like it's the world, when really it's just the world for journalists,
Yeah.
and writers, and that's led to all kinds of distortions, and I'm guilty of it too. Like, I will write about something saying this is a social problem, and proof of it is this annoying tweet. And it's like, make up a guy Monday, you know, like even if the guy's real, you're
Yeah.
making up a problem, you know, based on Twitter.
Yeah.
So so I'm kind of sad that Elon's kind of stepping down from leadership. That news from the last day or so, but like,
Yes, that is the most recent development. Is he says that he is going to step down, and I don't, I don't believe it. Although my understanding is um, that is basically what he does at every other CEO position he's at. Like, I read specifically at SpaceX, like he doesn't run anything, which makes sense because
No.
SpaceX like sometimes manages to launch rockets, so it's like, you know, they explode a lot of times, but like they actually get up there.
right. Yeah, they're not like just sending out emails to all of their like engineers saying, "You guys need to harness badassity in order to hyperloop into the space." Like
Right.
they did something.
Yeah.
So,
So
you
my
know.
real concern with Twitter is that it legitimately dies because they fired like half of their staff. So the real concern seems to be that I've seen from software engineers. I keep people on Twitter keep being like, my perspective as an SW engineer, and I'm like, a sex worker engineer. I'm like, wait, what?
I know a few of those for sure.
I didn't know that was like a demographic I need to be listening to about this, but you know, I engineers and
But I
sex
respect
workers,
them.
I respect. So, anyway, basically, there's just so many things that like are like breaking. Like, I mean, and we're already starting to see it in like little things like notifications, and like people were able to like retweet private Twitter accounts tweets.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, weird shit like that. And so it's just like things break and you have to fix them, and they just don't have the manpower or probably institutional knowledge. Like, there's so much institutional knowledge that is certainly walked out the door. Just shit people didn't. I mean, they fired half the workforce, and then they called up a bunch of those people and were like, actually, can
Come
you
back,
come back,
please.
please?
They're standing outside their bedroom with like a boombox, like, please, we don't know
Yeah.
how to make anything work. Come back.
And then, but then DMs are like Slack messages are leaking that are like, we need to fire these people as soon as we can, because as soon as we get their knowledge, because they don't believe in Elon.
Oh my god. And did you see the email that got sent out that was literally like from Elon Musk, and it was like, click this link in this email. It sounded like a phishing scam, but
Yeah.
it was real. He was like, we need badasses only here, or hardcore.
Yeah.
Hardcore people only. Click this link if you want to stay working here, because it's going to take long hours and no work-life boundaries. And if you don't click this link in 24 hours, you like won't have a job, or like in a couple of days. You won't have a job.
Basically, what they're trying to say is you're resigning, which is
Right.
legally. My understanding is it's legally not true, and because a lot of this shit is like, they're in fucking California that has like relatively, for the U.S., relatively strong worker laws, and they're just like, yeah, we're gonna lay off all of our people and not necessarily give them notice, not necessarily give them fucking the legally mandated amount of like severance. So
Or like articulate a reason. Like you have to actually have a reason to fire someone in California, which is like one of the only states where that's the case. I've seen, and if people want to share in the chat any weird things that you've seen going on Twitter functionality wise, like I've noticed like quote tweets, there's just no like, you can quote tweet someone and it won't be listed as having been quote tweeted.
God.
I tried to do an archive of my Twitter, because I'm like, this shit could go down. Oh, butthole check. Up yours, woke moralist.
Up yours, woke moralist.
Oh my god, that's so good. So I put in a request to get like a zipped folder of my full Twitter archive, and it usually is supposed to take a day, and then you get a notification saying you can download the zip drive. I did that like a week ago, and I never have gotten it, and I might never. So I'm gonna have to find some little applet or something outside of Twitter that will let me download all of this
Yeah.
stuff because there's so much writing and there's things that I bookmarked from other people for future writing projects and stuff, and it's like could all be gone
Yep.
at any time.
And specifically they've written papers about how much of an insane engineering task it is to keep Twitter running during the World Cup, the football World Cup, and that the 2020 World Cup starts like next fucking week. So
I'm excited.
Somebody before Charlie or Cooper just came up was pointing out cat.
Yes.
The first cat, the brown cat, is Charlie. Her name is Charlie, so we call her Charles, but she's only one Charles, so she is Charles. That cat was Cooper, named after Dale Cooper, who is unlike the real Dale Cooper, a fucking idiot, but he's so cute.
Oh yeah, and it's for our mention that it's the people who were working on the most challenging issues who got fired first, and the people who wrote the fewest lines of code, which often means you're working on a really thorny problem versus banging out a lot of nonsense, you know.
Yeah, initially they were having people print out the last 50 days of code, which is an insane thing. It's just every part of it. I think we could talk about all of the ways that Twitter is breaking for a long time.
Yeah, but people have probably been familiar with that already. Yeah, yeah.
There's so many things. Quickly, I think we should both, if you have one. I think my favorite fake Twitter, verified Twitter, was what is it? Eli Lilly, which makes diabetes medication, a fake one coming out and saying that diabetes or forgive me,
insulin is free now,
right?
Yeah.
And them have to come on and be like, I don't know who would lie about make such a horrible lie, but that's not true, and their fucking stock price dropping like a rock because of it.
And they're like suing, right? I think it's them who's
are they?
suing Twitter, yeah, for like allowing that.
Let
There
them
were a couple of
fight.
other ones. I think somebody was like impersonating Coke and just talking about kind of like stealing the world's water and things like that. Yeah, it's all really good. And it just always makes me think of the Jabuki one where and Jabuki's a real one for this because he knew blue check marks were worthless even back in the day. Who, if you don't know Jabuki, he's like a comedian. He writes for The Daily Show. He's a person about the internet, and he's had his blue check taken away like 3 different times. So one of them in 2020, he changed his display name to CNN.com, and he said, "Joe Biden is not dead. He's just out there getting that dick. We've all been there. CNN.com."
Was he the one that originally did Italian Elon Musk? Like years and years ago? Okay. God, what a
Yeah,
king.
because he'll change his name to like John Bucchi. He pretends to be Italian all the time.
We gotta make those jokes now before the Mario movie comes out and we're not allowed to anymore.
I saw the trailer for that. It was so bad. The antithesis of the
I will say,
Sonic
Jack
movie.
Black as Bowser, killing it. We all knew
He gets
this.
it. Yeah.
We all knew this.
I would have watched, a Jack Black Bowser movie for sure.
Make him Mario too. I don't give a shit. make him do
Yeah,
all
make
the
him be all of them. Yeah, make him be Rosalina. I don't give a fuck. But
So yeah. But what we're here to talk about is what came before and what
what'll
comes
come after.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we can talk about first our like entry points to social media, and like I know you had like an IRC kind of
Yes. So
anecdote. And...
So I'll start with I was thinking about this. This is like one of my most embarrassing, like how I got my whole chain. So I started on Newgrounds. The Newgrounds forums. I had like thousands of posts on the Newgrounds forums, which is how we judged clout back then, because you didn't have upvotes, so it's just how many times you fucking commented on threads was the clout, which is like ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like the true definition of like a power user.
Yeah.
Not successful, just posting a lot.
I specifically remember I had fucking dream where me and a mod from that forum hung out. It wasn't even sexual, it wasn't anything. We just hung out and like did a thing together. And I'm like, that's how much I was in that forum. But anyway, so it was that. As that kind of died off and I kind of fell away from that, I kind of was like, I had this while that I was like homeless on the internet. Like I really just didn't have a place. And what I found was that the one place that I found was this. I swear it had taco in the name, and it was a tiny website with one image on it, and you would click like a meme, and you would click a button, and it would give you a random meme. It was like almost like StumbleUpon or something like that, but like way more basic. It was literally just like, and this is like what 2010, 2009. So imagine those memes.
Yeah.
And I would just sit there clicking on it because I had an internet addiction without anywhere to like use that.
Put it. And that's kind of the thing that I think it's easy for us to forget because we talk so much now. Like even I've become like a weird Luddite where I talk about how evil Instagram and Twitter is. Like,
Yeah.
you know, quits social media for 1 week and becomes ascended.
Right.
But it's like, I remember when I first got an iPod Touch in 2009, I was in the back of my, world government class at college just going through dig.com and I was just digging.
Yep.
Because I wanted to escape consciousness.
Yeah.
That has not changed.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
my home life was crazy traumatic at the time, and I would just sit in my basement and like fucking sit there and press the what is the mouse, like the button, the random reward button that the mice press, you know what I'm talking about, the Skinner box,
Yeah,
the
with
little Skinner box
yeah.
button.
Yeah, just getting the bickies, getting getting to slop and eating it up. Yeah.
But yeah, eventually I found Reddit from that. And then it's only been in the past 2 or 3 years that I have started on Twitter. And it sucks because I actually feel like Twitter is kind of like the first place I've found that I've really felt like at home in a long time. Like I like have met people. Like I wouldn't say that there's anybody I'm like friends with from Twitter because I haven't been on long enough to like develop that stuff. But it's still like, I feel like there are communities I'm part of on Twitter. So
Yeah, I was gonna say you've had like a good Twitter experience. Like you go on
Yeah.
there, you say jokes, you're in the Anime Sickos mentions. Like you don't get into like into the discourse. You must have just curated your experience pretty well, or just like followed people who.
Oh, I
Are just
see all the
goofing or
discourse.
what?
That's the thing is I see all the discourse. I
Oh.
just don't.
So you just have good judgment.
I don't have. I think it's that my like when I see discourse, my like, and that's why this stream is gonna be a problem because I'm gonna be able to like I'll say all the shit I think because I see all the discourse and I have opinions, but my brain is too like ADHD that my opinions are too large for me to say them immediately in a concise way, and so by the time I like have that, it's the discourse is like fast. So I don't tweet about it because it doesn't move from my brain to the only thing that doesn't have that filter is dumb jokes. So
Yeah, you're just like let it fire. Yeah, no, but like, and this is a thing. Like, you probably actually don't even need to worry about it on the stream because I've noticed like, because I used to obsess over if I say this thing in the wrong way, the woke moralists are gonna come for me. I'm gonna get
I'm
cancelled.
yours, woke moralists.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I realized like with my books, with like interviews, with like streams, like if it's something that takes more than like 2 seconds to read, people don't cancel you for it that
Right.
much. Like you would have to like really do something like on Twitter you have to say everything perfectly or someone's gonna be like, how dare you. But if you fumble through how you say something on a podcast, people really don't care because they're not like sitting in bad faith for like an hour and a half scrubbing through the video or the
Right.
podcast recording to look for something to be mad about.
And then
you
and
know?
then if you want to like tweet about it, you have to like record that and upload it, and like you have to turn it into a soundbite, which is totally possible, but that takes longer.
Yeah, the only people they've canceled like that are like the Shane Dawsons of the world, where they like went to his old archives of his videos and they found the blackface, they found the weird joke about like jerking off on his cat, and they just like blasted it on Twitter in short bites that looked really bad because they were really bad. They were really bad.
Is that where that came from? I've seen the apology tweet, but I didn't know it was because he made a joke about it. That makes more sense.
He had like a podcast, live stream, YouTube show thing where he was just constantly trying to make everyone uncomfortable because that's kind of his whole thing. And so yeah, he was talking about jerking off on his cat, and then he had to be like, now to be clear, I do not condone actually doing that.
I said I wasn't going to apologize again, but
you do not have to hand it to him. Speak hatefully but long. Yeah, exactly. Like if
you'll
you
lose
are
the attention span.
really like, I mean, you know, I'll still get emails from people that are like, well, you should have said this, you shouldn't have done this, but it's like thoughtful, you know, it's like well intentioned for the most part, with longer work.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, Paint. Yeah, I definitely understand anybody who's just like, yeah, I can't with the being making content, because it's true. Like, you know, we're making content for Elon Musk now. You know, like every time you make a dumb tweet that goes viral, like that's fucking ad impressions. So.
And I just used to get so pulled into like if somebody it's like the nice logical fallacy dipshit. I'll see you in Reddit court. I would do that. I would bring my like debate team brain, and I would see somebody make a non sequitur in reply to something I posted, and I'd be like, that's a non sequitur. What do you mean by that? Or like, you know, you're asking this question in bad faith, and they don't care. Like,
yeah, no, nobody cares. And yeah, it's you don't win on the internet generally, like.
Skelly, yeah, please, like, if people want to share their experiences with like, are you leaving Twitter? Like, are you moving? Have you been trying out new social media apps? Or like, please, I know the chat has been very attentive, but if people want to just like share your own experiences or like reactions to this stuff or ask questions, like anything you want to put in the chat is totally cool.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think you were asking about I think you were actually asking about the ask in
Oh,
the
yeah.
ask box. So if you want to do for that, especially because we might not see it, I don't actually know how to see it right now without going to a different screen. But
Yeah.
especially for like, yeah, pretty much just vibes.
Oh, the Twitch is, yeah.
Yeah, the Twitch ask, like if you want to, like if you have ideas for things you'd like us to talk about in the future, or if you have reactions to past streams or whatever, literally anything.
Yeah.
Pretty much just vibes.
That's kind of like writing on our wall, old Facebook style. So like suggestion box, reactions, you know, whatever. Just scroll a little message for us, and we'll see it. Okay, some people saying they tried out Mastodon after the first OnlyFans credit card scare, and I love it there. But I mainly live on Discord and Twitch now with Insta for my family.
Discord is
Oh, yeah.
such a different thing. Like we actually really got to know each other over Discord. Like, we met in person, and then during and hung out a couple times. But then during the pandemic, Devin made a Discord community that we hung out, like, especially all through that year, and that's how we got to know each other even better. And that is such a great experience. It continues to be a really good experience. But Discord is so, like, I hate it as a replacement for social media, because these like closed off communities, like I hate when it's like I want to find out a thing about a game and they want me to go to their Discord. Like, I don't dislike that they have a Discord. If I wanted to find people to game with, if I wanted to like get into a community, that would be really cool. But like if I have a question, I don't want to go to a Discord and ask. I want to like go to a forum post from 6 years ago and just read it.
Right.
And-
Yeah, Discord feels way more like a communication
Right.
app than a social media app.
Right. And I think that there's like people have been replacing traditional like forums and social media with Discords just sort of out of necessity, and it's like I think it's unfortunate because it's these like closed systems that are not just like easily searchable and easily like usable more like a social media is.
Right. Yeah, and that actually I forgot to respond. Somebody like early in the chat when we started streaming asked like if I know of any, or if either of us know of any like autistic discords where people actually use voice chat and like talk. And no, like
Yeah.
other than ones that are like devoted to like actual like friend groups and like that are like small, like intentional, like almost like a bigger group chat,
Right.
like the one that Maddie and I are both on, where we're like talking to each other and like we like watch movies and play games and stuff like that. Anytime I join a Discord, it's so overwhelming
Yep.
where it's like you get this notification where you have to like check some rules box and like check off a thing saying what your pronouns are and get all the like labels and roles assigned to your account. And then there's like 500 different threads where people are just like glomping each other.
Yeah, that's really it. That's really it.
It's like really glomp core. And so it's really hard to like keep up with, and like people usually aren't even talking about the thing that the Discord's devoted to, because it's basically a group chat, which is fine, but it's not social media in the same
Yeah.
way.
Um,
Yeah.
if anyone in the chat has larger discords, because I love the idea of joining discords, and there's so many discords that like my list of discords I'm part of is so fucking long, and I can't even keep track of our small personal one, even though I love all of the people in it. I'm just like, I go to it and I haven't been there in a day and there's a million notifications and I'm like and
Oh
that's
my
so
God.
small compared to like, I don't know, a big, like a
Yeah.
musician's discord is like,
Oh my God. Yeah, can I just share? I'm gonna share my screen for a second again, just to like give you a sense of my Discord and how it is. Like, so I have all these messages. Well, I won't dox anyone, but like there's a queer one, there's like spoonies, there's like a transmasculine one, there's like another friend server, there's like
wait, hold on,
covert
they can't
hypnotism.
see yet, hold on, I have
Oh,
to,
okay.
okay, there we go, now you're good.
You can see I'm missing so many notifications. I'm like, here's some Chicago transmasculine one. Like, here's
Yeah.
like all of the hypno servers. This one's like a communist server. Horny jail. I don't even remember what that is.
Someone put you there. You didn't go to that. Like you didn't join that. You were just put in that.
The horny jail chose me. This is like a folder of all the like dead ones that people don't really post in.
Oh my
Like
God.
this is one that it's
Oh,
it's
and there's
just
Party Hole in there. Yeah, that
yeah,
was
party
okay.
hall.
That was really fun. Just while we're talking about Discord, I had a birthday party before we, like, it was right. It was in April of 2021, so people were starting to get vaccinated, but not everyone had it yet, and not most people's like immunity wasn't up. And I hosted a virtual birthday party where I made a Discord for it, and then I had a bunch of different rooms, because part of the problem with like video calls is once you get too many people, it's just not, you can't. It's not like you can't talk. It's just watching whoever is like most extroverted talk.
Mhm.
So it was like a bunch of rooms, so you could like join these smaller rooms, and that was like, that was I don't know if yeah, I enjoyed it. Um, and
Yeah,
so like weird
yeah.
things like that are like perfect for Discord.
Right. It's still like a social uh, experience. Again, it's not social media. It's like another tool for communicating with people
Right.
and like having it parceled out. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I see a lot of people have tried Mastodon. Let's see, hold on. Which I think is like that was the prevailing one that people were talking about, but I just don't know if it's going to actually get legs because of some of the issues
Yeah. I
with it that I've been hearing. I'm curious, you know.
So, and I think to step back, I think why I've been really thinking about social media and how I have actually had, like, I only started using Twitter a couple of years ago, you know, like I took a long time to get onto Facebook. Like every social media, I tried really hard to get into Tumblr at one point, and I just didn't. And I think the thing for me, and I think the hardest thing to get into any social media is like getting a feed. Like starting from scratch on social media is like so hard. Um, and I think like, because it's like, who do you follow? Like, and then and yeah, so going from like 0 to having a feed is really difficult. Um, and it's difficult in different ways for all of these social medias, and Mastodon in particular is like, with this weird federated system, it was hard for me to like find people I followed even when I had like, yeah, it's it, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, and like finding out that like the mods of the server can like read your DMs if they want to is like
Right.
kind of jarring.
Yeah.
And I think it was you, Maddie, who kind of mentioned that like if you at someone in a DM, so let's say that you're like, oh, you should follow this person, and you give the person you're talking to the at of the person that you want them to follow, that loops that person into the conversation. So
Or
if
if
you're
you're
like,
like,
oh
this
my,
this person is a piece, at whoever is a piece of shit, like brings them in.
it brings them in.
Yeah.
So that's scary. Finding the and I got, as some people know, I got banned off of Mastodon because I just made an account on Mast.to, put my author photo, put author man in my bio, and then like followed a bunch of kink accounts and started messaging with some guy who's in some like, or like added some guy that was like posting about some like like 24/7 lifestyle shit. And people were
Didn't
like
know that part. That's great.
it was just like, oh, this is a cool blog. And then like and so then I got this message
This is great.
that I was like,
Yeah.
you can no longer use your account. Your profile and your data are now locked. And it's like, we'll delete your account if you don't
So did
like
that get fixed?
repent. Yeah. Yeah, they fixed it like hilariously, and this also is like kind of telling that like I tweeted about how my Mastodon had been locked, and the moderator of that instance came into my mentions on Twitter and was like, "Hey,
On Twitter,
I'm
even.
sorry. We just err on the side of, assuming people are, imposters right now. We have this influx of people coming in. We can undo it."
Which
And
is
I didn't see
fair.
it because, yeah, oh yeah. But then I didn't see it because I didn't think I would get Mastodon troubleshooting on Twitter.
Oh man.
And like, I just didn't have my notifications turned on for anything on Twitter that isn't a follower, because that's just how I've like operated on there for,
Yeah, I mean you have to
yeah,
with the amount of, yeah. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I think that this Mallow really, I think that that's an interesting thing where you're talking about like basically the way Mastodon is set up, like it's all, the moderation is all volunteer. Um, uh, and I think that's something I've thought about, especially coming from Reddit, because Reddit's the same way, right? Where it's like, um, I think Reddit maybe is a little supposed to be a little bit less like this because it is a centralized thing. So I think that basically the way Reddit works is like there's subreddits that are volunteer run, but it's on Reddit, and so if you break a Reddit rule, like if you post, I don't know, child pornography, or you dox somebody, you're supposed to get banned by the administration. Although obviously their moderation is like every website is really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And but so yeah, I think that there is sort of this. I think that actually is a huge. That really gets to the core of social media websites in general, and is that what a social media site is how it's moderated. Um, that is so much of, and I think it's going to continue to be worse, considering all of the tools for astroturfing and bots and all that stuff is going to get we're on the precipice of, with AI tools, of just, I mean, when AI can write like humans do, like that's, it's
Mm-hmm.
already a thing. It's not widely available, and it's expensive. But as soon as that is widely available, that the whole game is going to change. It's going to be impossible to tell if somebody is a bot or not, because they could write like
Yeah.
people. Um,
Oh my God, I just actually, I'll share one with you that is free that someone just showed me, that like it can write, like it's called Novel AI, and
mhm.
it's, you can like tell it what writing style it to be in. It can, you just give it little stems of writing, and you can tell it how omniscient you want the narrator to be.
Wow.
Like you can put information in the sidebar so that you know what the writer knows. It's, yeah.
And
So
that stuff is about to make moderation way harder. But I think it yeah. So that is the question, right? Like how do we moderate these things effectively? Because you're right, with Mastodon, it's unpaid volunteer labor, which is also, you know, easy to, you know, if it's the classic forum moderator power trip. Like if the admin your doesn't like you, they can just fuck you over. But at the same time, obviously, leaving moderation to giant corporations that just want your money is also a huge problem. Whether it's you know, U.S. based oligarchs like Facebook and Twitter, or whether it's, you know, whether on TikTok it's fucking China, the Chinese government, like it's all bad. So
Yeah, and maybe I'll just share really quick that article from Anna Valens. It's from a couple of years ago, but she's been kind of like reporting on social media stuff and censorship for the Daily Dot for a long time, and she says it's kind of still relevant. Um, that Mastodon is really torn between its kind of like left leaning but techie crew of users that want to remain relatively apolitical and use the platform to kind of share memes and talk shop and not have a lot of conflict, you know, and like have kind of a, it's kind of like a lot of like websites that if their comment moderation policy is something like be nice, how that can quickly turn into tone policing
yeah,
for marginalized people. And so that's the other base of Mastodon users are like queer and trans people who really, and disabled people who really want to talk about political issues and can't not because our existence is so politicized. And then being like penalized for being too negative. And that being like a big tension on the platform, which I thought was super interesting to read about.
yeah, absolutely. And it yeah, it's just, yeah, I think, yeah, it really goes to show how much moderation is like, even within, I think, you know, people generally on the left, like like would agree on, like, you know, we don't have, like, even from this political divide of, like, you know, reality, like what reality are you living in, like, you know, do our Democratic senators drinking children's blood, or, you know, you know, what, like, even aside from those bigger, like, what is reality questions, like that, a lot of this stuff is subjective, like, uh you know, how do you, yeah, how do you police speech, and like Skelly says, can we ever moderate these things effectively? Is the scale just too big? Like, I don't know. I don't yeah.
And I guess that's something that a lot of Mastodon heads would kind of say is the advantage of it. I mean, I think it was our friend Mimo who like said that it's like being in an HOA when you're on a federation, that you're kind of like beholden to your small federation or like your small, you know, instances rules,
Yeah.
which means then it doesn't have to scale, but then you kind of have to choose which little, you know, like province you want to be a part of and which rules you want to follow. Which at least then you have that option, but then, you know, it's, and it goes back to the forum days, like um, where whoever was moderating the forums that you were on, they were like the god of your, or like the queen of your like little social communities back in the day. Um, and you know, we used to be more comfortable with that because it was more of a smaller scale thing, I guess.
Yeah. I do think that, I think that volunteer stuff can be, uh I think that that's got to be part of it. And I don't know what the answer is. It's funny because the you know, the thing that we set up this conversation to be was like imagining the future of social media, and so I was thinking about like what would my ideal social media be, and it's funny because I actually have this very specific memory from, I want to say I started thinking about it 4 or 5 years ago, um, where I was like, what should social media be? And I remember the conclusion I came to is actually startlingly like Mastodon, which is funny, because it was like, why can't I remember thinking like, why can't social media be like email, where we download a client and then which is like that's what Mastodon is. But you
Yeah.
know, at the same time, I didn't see any of the. I didn't when I was thinking about it hypothetically. I didn't see any of the problems that clearly exist with Mastodon. So, but yeah, it's a big question.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and it comes down to like what are you trying to accomplish? Because like when I think about what do I use social media for and what were like the peak days of social media for me, I think of like Live Journal in high school where I was reading fucking like real person Damon Albarn, Graham Coxon slash fic and looking at like art of 2D from Gorillas. Oh, actually,
Yeah. Oh God, that's such.
2D from Gorillas, fucking Murdoch from Gorillas, and also secretly lurking and reading one of my classmates' eating disorder blogs as someone who was engaging in the exact same behaviors and like reading through it and being like, wow, she's so messed up.
Man.
Taking notes
Yeah.
furiously of
Yeah.
how to do the exact same thing. Like, and you sometimes like I don't know. And early days of Tumblr, like the Tumblr writing community, Eric is in the chat here. That's how we met. That we were just serializing. Like I was serializing a whole novel on Tumblr. I would write these like 2,000 word long chapters and just put them on Tumblr, and people would actually read them and like catch up. And I think sometimes Reddit is similar in like this way that like you get to just like dive into someone's world and just see what's going on with them and what they're thinking about in a longer form way. But the thing that was so great back then was like the purity. Like even if something went viral, you weren't really gonna ever it I don't know, it just wasn't as manufactured to like try and generate clout, whereas like every tweet always just felt like it was made to try and generate some kind of clout. And
Yeah.
you could, you know, unless somebody really had that poster's instinct, if they were possessed by the god of posting.
And I think that's also a big question with like with social media is algorithms and like how your feed is created. And I think that kind of I would be shocked if we did a single stream on here that doesn't come down to like actually it's capitalism is a huge reason why this is all sucks, because a huge reason why all of these social media sites are the way that they are is because like the you know your Twitter feed is set up to increase engagement, and the things that make you engage are things that piss you off. Like, I mean, Facebook did literal experiments on this where it was like they were showing, you know, they had like control groups, and then they would show people like more like
It was a
things.
mood manipulation. Yeah.
Right.
So they basically manipulated whether you saw more positive things or more negative things in your feed to see if people would be on the site longer if they were unhappy versus happy. And that's part of why they had added different reactions too,
Right. And
just to collect that data.
yep, and it worked. You know, when you're pissed off, you engage more, and engagement is what, you know, advertisers like to see. And so, and I think that's why there's been sort of a. I'm curious what the algorithm is like on Mastodon. I don't think there is the same kind of thing. From what I was seeing, it's very much like it's just either the people you follow, or you can see your instance, or you can see the the like.
Local, yeah. I
Or,
can pull it up real quick and I'll make sure to share it in a way where you don't see any cat animated cat penis or anything like that. Um,
unfortunately.
unfortunately. Okay, good. Actually, it is already sanitized, which is good because my first post on my feed is not safe for work. But I'll go to the local timeline and then share it in a second here. Because I don't know. It might be more like chronological. If anyone in the chat does know, it's just chronological. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and you can
That's
see
good.
the people you follow, everything from the instance you're in, which is so wild to me because so few places just let you get the raw feed of like what everyone is posting. Like that's what I grew up on, and where as like Newgrounds, where you could just go to the portal and it would just show you like literally what everyone was uploading right then, just uncut. And then there's also the Fediverse, which is like basically my understanding is like your instance and the instances that it is like officially linked to.
I think so.
Or just
Yeah.
the official Fediverse in general.
Yeah. Yeah, like and linking of different federations is something I still don't understand. Is it just like if the moderators agree to like say like we're homies because we like have similar populations and like interests that we're posting about? Like I don't even know.
I think it is kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah. So like right now as someone who follows very few people, and this is just my regular, I have one on, we both have ones on yif.life,
Yeah.
which I would love to share, but I feel like it's way too risky to live stream yif.life.
Yeah.
Um, and then this is just like the regular one, and it's just like it reminds me of early Twitter so much, where it's just
Mhm.
like, you know, you just got international news, just like aesthetic pictures. And I kind of like how it is not for me at all in any way.
Yeah, is that, and I wonder if that's because you're new and it hasn't learned you yet, or if it just doesn't have that stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's also like these posts were all made in like the last 3 4 minutes, so I think it is also just like the chronological feed that it's just like this is just what people on mass.to, which is kind of one of the more general, larger ones, um, has. Um,
And I
like,
am,
what is this fucking talking about? Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
oh no,
Yeah.
mansies. Yeah, I am at testify. Okay, the one thing that pisses me off with Mastodon, and this is so stupid, but there's two ats. There's two ats in your username. You're at, I'm at testifice underscore at uh mass.to. It's very stupid,
Right.
but it's a very
And that
stupid like complaint, but it drives me crazy.
No, it's really hard because like I was even just asking like how do you find people to follow on other accounts? And somebody told me there's unlike other instances, and somebody even just told me straight up you need to just write down their handles.
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah.
Which it's like back in the day when we used to write down website addresses that were long, you know.
HTTP colon backslash backslash www.
And like here's George Takei. Like it really is like 2013 Twitter.
Oh my
Mike Pence is an example of toxic Christianity.
oh my god.
Like, so I like this feed because it's so wholesome and not timely, you know?
Hmm.
I like that it's like from a world like early Twitter when people were not angry all the time and people didn't know what to post about.
Yeah, because it's
They didn't
different.
know what.
It's different for every instance. So it's sort of like there's less of a like there's a way to tweet because we've been on Twitter for so long and you know blah blah blah. But like because the way to tweet in each instance presumably is different. Like there's not that like standard thing.
Hmm. Yeah, and I saw this post on Tumblr that was making the rounds that was talking about early blogs, like really, really early blogs on the early internet. And people would write back then in a way that was not that performative because it was just kind of assumed that if you had a blog, like most people did not have blogs, you were one of the few places for people to go on the internet. And so whatever you had to say was just innately interesting. Um,
Yeah.
but not in the like egotistical way. It's just people would really like and they were using the example of what's the it was like an early web comic something Tokyo. Does anybody remember like Neo Tokyo something like that? But like the guy would just write like, "Oh, I just you know, planted some rutabagas in my garden. I'm going to meet my brother for a milkshake later today." Like and that was like somebody who was like a big content creator, you
Right.
know. It was like just way more pure in a way. Whereas now it has to always be a joke or a take or you draw some inference about how the world be based on one thing that happened to you or whatever. Mega Tokyo, yes, thank you. Yeah,
That
the Mega
sounds
Tokyo guy.
um yeah, yeah. And Mallow, you were saying like content warnings for all news, which is so wild to me that you have like a news content warning. Um, but also like Devin was saying, you know, like content warning if you're talking about trans stuff, which is like, you know, or like I heard a story of, I don't know if it's true, but somebody like, yeah, I posted a joke, and they're like, that's not how we that's not how we post on here.
We don't joke on here. Oh yeah, it's for our saying there's big issues with white content warning absolutist scolding black users for sharing posts about racism without content warnings. And that, even though I'm historically a very like pro trigger warning, pro content warning, these things have been really misunderstood as censorship kind of person, that is the one place where I don't abide. Like you can't, as a white person, ask for a content warning on racism. Like you
Yeah.
need to just be able to just accept, like, does everybody have the right to say they don't want to see like graphic videos of like police violence and things like that? Yeah, we should all be uh, tasteful about that and know how traumatizing that stuff is. But
Right.
talking about racism, tone policing that, um, and have heard black Twitter users say that about tone indicators as well. That like that there's that it's like a very white thing sometimes to like
Interesting.
require people or expect people to use a tone indicator to say that they're being sarcastic.
Right.
Um, oh yeah, and Mallory's really saying, yeah, you can get banned for not using a sarcasm tag. That's interesting. So Maddie, have you dug around on yif.life much, or no? I did
Not
not
really.
spend a lot of
Like
time
I
on
hit
it.
that roadblock of like I get on there and then I'm like, well now what? Like I think part of it is just going to be like literally watching that stream of, you know, who's posting right now and finding things I like. Um, but I haven't yeah, I haven't spent enough time on it to find uh anything to follow on there yet. Have you found anything good on there?
I have not spent a lot of time yet. Again, it feels so, and early Tumblr was this way too, where you just had to dig around and find what you liked, and it takes a while to like gel.
Yeah.
Um, and that's fine. But it's almost like in exploring all of these options, like I tried co-host and I like the layout of it more. I think its moderation policy, or like it feels more like something I could get comfortable with compared to Mastodon, just because of how much control mods have on Mastodon.
Yeah.
But I keep coming back to the question of, do I need this?
Yeah.
Should I just keep using Tumblr? Like Tumblr's got Booba back on it, so who cares?
Well, my understanding is that you can post boobs on it, but you still can't post porn.
I mean, I reblogged a incredibly graphic uh, porn GIF on Tumblr this morning, like violent gang picture, and like nothing. And it. Okay, so here's the thing. Tumblr had its porn ban, and a lot of sex workers were driven off the platform. A lot of people's accounts got deleted, and a lot of people had this thing where Tumblr would just flag a post if there was anything that was like too much like what it registered as Caucasian skin tone.
Yep.
So like you could paste like a beige kitchen, and it would think it was porn, and you could appeal those. And a lot of times it would get overturned, and so you wouldn't be banned, and they'd reinstate the post. So people then started posting porn that was just cast in like green or purple or something. And so then you could still post porn. And within like a year of the porn ban, they quietly changed the algorithm. Because I have been reblogging porn on my Tumblr for like years again now.
Okay.
Um,
I was one of those. I had a porn blog, and all of my posts got taken down, and then now I only recently realized that they are back up there. So, or some amount of them
yeah.
anyway. So, yeah, I think, but it's frustrating because I think that the law of the TOS is still a porn a porn ban.
Right.
Like Skelly, you're like, what is the line between boobs and porn though? Which is like the great question. Is
Right.
that thing where there's like a famous quote where it's like, well, I'll know it when I see it, which is
Yep.
like
Supreme Court. Yeah.
right, which is like I think that that's probably true, but when you're writing terms of service, like you can't and so I think there is like, even though there's not an active porn ban, it is still that thing where it's like they could ban you at any time because technically it's not allowed in the TOS. So, which is
Yeah.
frustrating, but obviously there's not, if Twitter like legitimately dies, there's not a lot of other better options.
Right. Yeah, and so it does seem to come down way harder on sex workers. Like if you are trying to get people to go to your OnlyFans or to give you money or like anything like that, they pick up on it and they ban you versus if you're a bot that's just reposting stolen clips from porn, those people don't get deleted anywhere near as much or like individual cases of that don't get banned as much. So it's like so Twitter has been the best option for a long time for a lot of sex workers on social media because you can at least advertise your stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas on Tumblr, like you know, artistic nudes are fine in their TOS, porn isn't, but it's way easier for them to find and label something as porn if somebody's trying to make a living off of it and
Yeah.
it's their own content versus if it's stolen content, which is
Yeah.
just yeah.
Garbage.
So it creates a lot of issues. Yeah. But
So what is your I talked about my history, social media history. What is yours?
yeah, so I was all about LiveJournal, um, because that just innately made sense to me as like a writer and as a a high schooler and like somebody who wanted to in, know what was going on with other people and hear their private thoughts. And then I was also really active on this forum called Invader Zim Obsessives Anonymous.
Yes, you told me about this. Yes. Oh, so good.
Where and that was one of those things where it was like a benevolent dictatorship. It was like all of us 13-year-olds and then there was this like 26-year-old woman who moderated it and ran it who she was like what are the like aliens like tallest whatever, like I think that's what the leaders are called in Invader Zim. So she was like her like handle was like tallest Kaz or something like that, and we were like, oh, we worship you, tallest Kaz, like you're our mommy, you take care of us,
Oh my
and
God.
like she was like a reasonable person, like it was like one of those rare things where someone was a fandom mommy but it wasn't weird, like she was just like
Right.
appropriate sense of boundaries.
Right.
um and so we would just like do role playing as different Invader Zim characters and yeah, the almighty tallists. And I would write like little Invader Zim themed raps every week based on each episode and
Bless.
what happened in each
Bless.
episode. I wish I could recover them, but I think the forum's just completely gone. Um, and I think there was like a Legend of Zelda forum I was really active on, like Hylia.net or something like that, where I would write like fan theories. And Gaia Online, which people probably do remember Gaia Online a
I
little
remember
bit.
the ads on Newgrounds. And then since then, I've talked to people that were more invested, or like invested in it. So I have some conception of it. But like, yeah, that's always what I remember is the banner ads with the little chibis.
Yeah, the little chibis, and you got gold for posting. If you posted more, you got more gold, and you could use the gold to buy things for your avatar. And you could also pay money, real world dollars, to buy gold and dress up your avatar. So it was like, and I think we're gonna basically have to move back to that model, and I think we kind of are with like Tumblr having like the crabs and the
Yeah.
and places like Twitch having like bits and emojis that you unlock. Like
Reddit has some
what?
bullshit like that too, but it's unfortunately tied into like NFTs. But it's like you can
Mm,
buy like little Reddit uh, avatars with different outfits and stuff. You know.
yeah, because I think it comes down to like with social media, there's a couple of different models that work. There's the advertising model, which basically means you have to have a feed that is non-chronological and frustrating and capitalizes on attention. And then there's like the Substack, Patreon, Medium, Twitch subscriber model where you just pay a flat fee every month to access the stuff.
Right.
And that kind of works, but it's way more isolated
And it's
and
also like
smaller pool.
it's like it's also a classist kind of thing where it's like it reminds me so much of like if you don't pay money for news you just paywall, like, which is a huge problem where it's like CNN is paywall but Fox News is not, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and so if we're talking about social media, especially for like neurodivergent people and trans people, like it has to be a porous or like optional paywall
Yeah.
if we're gonna do something like that, which I think Twitch kind of does pretty well. Like anybody can follow someone.
Yeah.
but then you can also subscribe and pay. And Substack and Medium kind of do that too. Not that those are social media, but I think they are and they aren't. They're
Yeah.
content, social content things. Um,
Yeah, I think
and then there's
I
the
mean that's the
no,
NPR
go.
thing, you know, like I think or the PBS model. Like I think that's that's how most podcasts work right now. Um, I think that yeah, that to me seems like the best way to do it. Um, and hopefully and that's kind of seems like where Twitter was trying to go before Elon Musk came in. He like there was like the super followers and stuff, but so
Yeah. Yeah, because I think that's the kind of the third model, or like there's a hybrid of like the porous paywall plus the like, if you have money to kick into the site, that it just unlocks little cutesy things
mhm.
that are not actually adding functionality in any necessary way. So it's not actually gatekeeping anyone, but it's like, but it can still become a status marker, right? Because if it's like if
Yeah,
you're paying to get a check or a avatar or whatever, that still signals some kind of status, so it can go haywire. But I think there is probably a way to do it, and I think Twitch is a pretty good example of that, where it's like you can watch someone's videos and participate in the chat and never need the like emoji, but
yeah,
but also it's still so personality driven. It's not a real conversation in the way that like a subreddit
yeah,
is, or even a Twitter feed can be. So
yeah. And I think a lot of these, I mean, a lot of these sites are weighed down by um, the like the managerial bloat and the like, these are all like publicly traded companies that are primarily, their first requirement is to their shareholders and stuff like that. Um, so, and that's a huge way. I mean, that's why Elon Musk is doing all of the garbage that he's doing, is because Twitter has always been an unprofitable company, but now it has like some crazy amount of millions of dollars per day that it owes on its debt because of the way that he purchased it. Um, so what was like a barely profitable thing is now like an insanely unprofitable thing. Um, but it's like all of these
yeah,
things, I think about like Spotify. Like Spotify like it does not give the majority of its money to musicians. It's and
it's like a cent
right,
per stream, or a fraction of a cent per stream. Yeah.
right. And so it's like yeah, and all of that is going to Spotify as a company. So, again, it's just capitalism. It's just growth
Hmm.
mindset
Yeah.
and
For a while, people thought YouTube was gonna die because, like, for like many many years of its existence, it was just hemorrhaging money, and it's gotten worse and worse over the years because they have had to add more and more advertisements to be solvent,
mhm.
because they're just hosting such big, video files and so much content. So that's a big struggle, and now you have fucking like Elon Musk trying to prop up Twitter by having SpaceX take out ads on Twitter.
Which is all taxpayer funded. Like SpaceX,
Yeah. Oh my
the
God.
only thing that all of its income, I'm pretty sure, like I believe if it's not all of it, it's some huge part of it is all just government subsidies. So it's our tax dollars.
Oh my God. And that also makes me think of the like there's some tweet I retweeted earlier this week where someone was talking about how Twitter has become a public health um, and emergency preparedness resource, that we use Twitter to let people know when there's like a hurricane coming and you need to evacuate or anything else.
Hmm.
And so we're just constantly grappling with the fact that these corporate owned services that exist to make advertiser revenue are also our main means for many of us of like organizing and disseminating election information, and like, we're treating it like it's public infrastructure, and it's not.
Right.
So
Yeah.
um oh, I haven't read Choke Point Capitalism, um Mallory, but I probably should. Oh, and while we're talking about, or we were talking about our early social medias, I do want to pull up some of the Carboys slash art from
Oh
my
my
early
god. Oh my god.
NSFW Twitter.
Please, please, please.
because many of them are not explicit, so it'll just take me a second to pull it up from my archive so that nobody sees forbidden booba on
That raises a question. Can we say slurs? Can I call myself a slur on Twitch? Will we get banned for calling ourselves slurs? Does anybody know?
That's a good question. Yeah, like can we say like fag and things like that on here? Like I don't know how advanced the like
I don't think
the
that they have
algo is.
yeah, I don't think that they'll like flag it algorithmically. But I know we can't show feet.
That's so wild. The no feet rule. Oh my god. Oh my god, this Carboys art. Oh. Let me just open up a couple of these. Oh my god, it's so cursed now in retrospect. Well, it was already cursed. I hope my computer
I'm so excited. I've heard of this, but have never actually seen it.
Okay, I'm gonna open up a couple of these and let them load real quick and just double check that they... Oh, and my horse is still here. That's good. And this was just like peak, and I assume some people in the chat probably know what Carboys are, but it's Griffin McElroy and Nick Robinson back when they were on Polygon, and before Nick Robinson was canceled for asking for nudes on the internet from nice women who were just trying to do their jobs in video games.
Yeah, and were some of whom were like barely legal kind of age. It sounds like.
Mm-hmm. Okay, hold on. They're still loading because of this goddamn horse.
The horse is eating your bandwidth.
Up yours.
The horse is just...
Horse.
Up yours, horse moralists.
God, I need that. I want to get that much control over this shit.
Oh my god. Someday. So,
wait,
you know, when...
Oh my god, I can see it. Hold on.
So when the judgment day comes and the great book of my sins is opened before me, most of the things that will deny me entry into heaven will be things that I did on Tumblr. One of them, for example, is saying that Neil Cicierega is a lesbian, and and if you're a lesbian and you're attracted to Neil Cicierega, you have to stay attracted to him even after you find out he's a man. That's a thing I get canceled for. I don't agree with that take anymore, but that was some weird take I had. Well, I was just asking questions, actually.
Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan defense. No, I'm an idiot. I don't know anything. I'm just asking questions.
It was literally, yeah, and maybe I can pull that up at another time because it's and this discourse that I started. It's been on Twitter. Neil Cicerega's posted about it. It's been on YouTube, but basically someone was like, I was attracted to this fine butch lesbian, this nerdy butch lesbian, and then I found out they were a man, and I was like, but nothing has changed.
God,
it was a bad take. It was a bad take.
Go so far into that.
I was just asking questions. So that's one of my sins. And this is another of my sins, which is that I was going through a lot of transgenderized feelings, and Nick Robinson wore little anime shirts and a goofy haircut, and I thought, I want to be like that.
I want to be like that and kiss Griffin McElroy.
I want to be like that and kiss Griffin McElroy. So here's one.
That art is so good. That art is so good.
It's really cute. It's like almost like CalArts style. Like this person was in school. You know what I mean? Like one can assume. There's this one.
Oh man. I feel like there must have been so much, and I was not part of this community. I've watched all of that content, like all of Carboys and all of the Griffin, but I imagine there must have been some pent-up energy because before this it was all Griffin streaming with his brother Justin, so I wonder if there was some amount of pent-up energy where it's like we couldn't ship them because they're siblings and we'll get canceled for being incest shippers, but these ones aren't siblings.
It's the supernatural effect all over again. That like there's something in people's brains, and this is like the Kim Kitsuragi, like the shipping the two people in Disco Elysium. Like, don't
Nothing-
have these two men kiss.
Nothing pisses my spouse off like shipping those two in Disco. Not because they, because they're gay or because
They're a homophobe. Yes.
Yeah, not anything like that, but because or it's just purely that they are like, Kim deserves better. The main character is so trashed. It is a travesty that you would saddle Kim with the protagonist.
It makes no sense. And also there was some Tumblr discourse where people were calling Kim Kitsuragi a femme, and it's like, he's obsessed with cars. He's way more masculine than the protagonist of that game. Like,
You're wrong.
yes. So, but yes, I think you're right that like people had all of this erotic energy directed towards Griffin McElroy and both of the boys, but they couldn't do anything with it. So the second he was next to someone else, it was like, aren't these a cute couple? Well, they certainly are next to each other.
Oh my god!
Is this one?
See, there's so many good ones. I didn't watch these as they came out. When I found it, they were all out. But I did watch Gil and Gilbert as they came out, and I wasn't like in the fandom, but as we were watching them, we were just like, "There's got to be a lot of that, right?" And then me and my spouse went on AO3, and we're like, "Yep, there's a lot of it." They carried each other around while they were gaming.
Yeah, and they have both been really good about like they're from like a different era of like commenting on parasocial relationships. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the like, you're not my friend and you have no say what I do with my body thing that he did on it wasn't on Gil and Gilbert, but I think it was on one of the like Polygon videos. But like,
That sounds
already
familiar.
they're so different. This one is so funny. Okay, so he's got a little text message from Griffin. I'm tipsy and I miss you so much.
So fucking good.
I remember when I saw this, it made me, I thought this was just unspeakably erotic.
You came.
I nutted. And you'll notice that I tagged it safe for work because, well, it is. First of all, it is. But second of all, when the Tumblr porn ban came into effect, people were like, listen, if you tag your stuff safe for work,
They won't
they
come
won't.
for you.
It was like when boomers like post on Facebook like, I do not give Facebook consent to sell my picture to advertisers in China or whatever, It's like that, posting that on your wall doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Okay, and the last one.
Oh man, that's really good. Oh, with Pidgeot. Oh, or that's not Pidgeot, or
Yes.
whichever.
Pidgeotto, yeah.
Yeah.
whichever one.
Oh,
And I can say now, several years later, I've pretty much encapsulated the look on the left.
oh my God,
Which at the time
that could
was-
be a picture of you.
It was goals at the time, and now I don't need my canceled human, Wooby Blorbo. I am my own canceled human, Wooby Blorbo. So thank you, Nick Robinson,
For being part of
for that.
Yeah. We allow yes, thank you, Skelly, we allow certain words or terms which might otherwise violate our policy to be used in an empowering way or as terms of endearment when such intent is clear. So I can,
That's
so
good.
I can call myself a fag in an empowering way, and I can call you a fag as a term of endearment.
I'm fag? Is that mean? I'm fag? Oh yes, roleplay accounts with unimaginable amounts of smut. Yes.
Yeah, and that's a huge part of that thing, that when we're talking about all like that shit, like of like the classic tweet of the fact that I might be exposed to a 14-year-old's opinion at any time on the internet is a human rights violation. Like, that's a huge part of social media that we don't talk about, where it's like, you know, like minors being exposed like to the internet in sort of an unrestrained way. And and that, on the one hand, that's super important, because it's like, that's how teens are getting information that about how they're trans or autistic or whatever. But on the other hand, it means that not only are they see, and could accidentally see porn of that cookie, what is the cookie game?
Cookie Clicker?
Not Cookie Clicker. There's a mobile game.
Like, is there porn of Cookie?
It's the I don't remember it. There's a mobile game where they're all cookies, and and they like to, they make them look thick. So they're thick cookies.
I'm just gonna Google image that thick cookie game.
But yeah, so they might look at their favorite mobile game and then they find porn of it. But then also they're gonna tweet about their favorite game, and adults have to interact with that, and then possibly they could be like, and that's just a whole thing.
And there, at fandoms, we've developed etiquette for this, like Steven Universe. If you're making porn of Steven Universe, you're supposed to misspell his name with like a PH instead of a V. That was kind of like the etiquette.
Oh, that's a great idea. I like that.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you don't do it with the boy child, but if you want the thick gem women and them in to do a kiss, you just misspell the name of the franchise, and that kind of works. I've seen that. There was some other fandom where that was going around recently, where people were like, guys, let's just all get on the same page. If we're doing smut, we're going to use this tag, and we're going to hide it from people who are on the other tag,
Yeah, Mallow says, kid doing a search on Tumblr for My Little Pony because they innocently love the show.
Yeah, that is that's the one that really broke bad in a severe way. But yeah, the Disney Worldification of social media has been a
I'm
thing.
gonna go on. I'm gonna go onto the hold screen for a second, and we will be right back.
Okay, so we're gonna wind down in a second here because I've been on the live stream for a bit, but I thought we would end with some of this, since it's in the video description anyway, some of this Taylor Swift conspiracy theory stuff. Both her, whatever you want to talk about, either her T-girl swag or her 4chaner, which I guess those things aren't mutually exclusive.
Yeah, that's
unfortunate.
Yeah. So I just said, we were just like bullshitting. I think it was when we did the test stream last week that Taylor Swift has, I think she has T-girl swag. I tried to find the video. The video that I saw was actually the video of Kanye being like, I'm gonna let you finish that which was I learned the 2009 VMAs. Somebody posted a video of that. But before that even happened, I was just watching her get up and her horrible posture of like it's like she's really tall and thin, and she's just got this horrible posture, and I'm like, that's me, that's T-Girl Swag. I would show the video, but unfortunately apparently it was a rare jewel that I got to see because they've taken all of the videos of that off of YouTube, and there's just horrible phone videos.
She doesn't want the people to know.
Yeah.
It's like what's the Facebook transvestigation, where they find
Yes.
that like every celebrity is secretly trans.
So, but I thought we could talk about let's see.
I've definitely heard the rumors that like she had, because she's been on Tumblr forever, and I have heard the rumors that she had a 4chaner presence, and that like maybe there's photos of herself that she posted on there, but from before she was famous and like things like that.
So this is the scene, you know, it's the scene where the scene where what it in It's Always Sunny.
Look
where,
what you made me do.
well, no, I was thinking the scene in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where he's ranting about. Let me talk about the mail.
Oh yeah.
This is
Yes.
that scene, but for Taylor Swift.
Pepe Silva or whatever.
Yeah, Pepe Silvia, but for Taylor Swift on 4chan. I have no idea if it's real. Although some of these things, if they're not just completely fabricated, they're fairly convincing. Yeah, there's this picture, which definitely, I mean, that looks like Taylor Swift, and then they've linked this official picture of her with the same background. There's a bunch of things like that. There's a poster. Where is that one? Yeah, there's.
Oh my god, I love how wild this looks. It's
So yeah, look at this shit.
me when I'm having a normal one.
There was something where somebody asked for the 4chan to name their kitten, and Meredith was the name that got picked, and then she did indeed name her cat Meredith, which I did confirm that she does have a cat named Meredith, so that that was my research that I did.
It's possible.
Yeah.
that-
I'm just asking questions.
I'm just asking questions.
Yeah, here is a tweet from the same day and time and the same wording from Taylor Swift, and also on 4chan, with a photo that has metadata that lines up.
This is some QAnon level.
Oh yeah, I mean this is 4chan's fucking specialty, man. Is this shit? So yeah, I don't know if it's real, but I do love it.
I think it's possible. I think especially now that she's come into her era of like owning her like Machiavellian sinisterness, like that's like what half the lyrics of Midnights are all about, that it's like, yes, I am a covert narcissist and a sociopath and all of these things. And isn't that very sexy and poggers of me?
But I think another thing that's important to I love TS.
Yes, I love TS.
I love
We love
transsexuals
TS.
is a thing that she's had. I don't remember what video this is for. This is a video where she had a bunch of backup dancers that say I love TS, and then
Yep.
here
It's
specifically
Todrick Hall, yeah.
is a picture when Tom Hiddleston was dating her. He wore a shirt that said I love TS, which obviously means I love transsexuals. So
That's all it could mean.
why did he wear a shirt that said I love transsexuals when he was dating Taylor Swift? I just think
There's
it's
no other
interesting.
explanation. She's tall, she's got that posture.
She's got that T-girl
Um,
swag.
She's got that. She's been on. In closing, she's been on the internet. She's about that life.
Yep. Oh, and just because you mentioned it, I will say, because I skipped over it and got distracted, but I will tell the story of just talking about different social medias. My ex-boyfriend in about 2012 there was a LimeWire knockoff. I think it was called FrostWire. That basically, if you went into the help, like if you went to help, there was like get help from chat or something like that said like that. And when you clicked on that, it literally just opened an IRC channel. Like it didn't connect you to a specific person. It just, there was an IRC channel that you could talk to anybody else who got there.
So were people supposed to just use it to like crowdsource help with like technical questions, or is it like,
I guess.
how do I fix this biplane closet in my bedroom? Like, could you ask anything?
Yeah. So I don't know all the details. It was very established at this point when I started dating him, because obviously that was years ago that it started. And so a community developed out of that. And I guess the creator and like admin of the software eventually was just like gave it to the people that used it, and we're like, yeah, y'all deal with this. And
Oh my
so
God.
my boyfriend was just like the admin of this IRC channel of that. Just, you could, if you went to the help of this fucking software you downloaded, so you could download, you know, fucking techno beats or whatever.
So would people just ask for like tech help, or would people be like in there with some wild stuff like?
I think it was just like so few people found that it was just like, it was just a regular community. Right? Like it didn't end up having anything to do with that. And every once in a while someone would come in and be like, how does my FrostWire, why doesn't my download work?
So people would just be chatting and like hanging out, and then someone would just be like, hey guys,
Yeah.
I'm having a technical issue. And then they would like help them.
Presumably, maybe, I don't know. I never got understood the whole thing. What I do remember from that time is there was some disagreement about the rules, and so users on the like users fucking found my boyfriend's IP address and printed shit off from his printer to be like, as their, I don't know, I didn't ever see what was printed off, so it was presumably not great, but
Oh my God. Yeah, I would be scared. That's like way lower stakes, like swatting, you know? It's just
Oh,
like
yeah,
you just get a
absolutely.
scary printer
I lived
message.
with him at the time too, so
So it'd just be like, oh, what is the Zodiac Killer deigned for us to print today? Like,
so I
That
guess
does-
the moral is we'll find ways to communicate.
we'll find ways. Oh my God. Yeah, we'll write our plans to take over the government in bullets in the wall in Fortnite
in the metaverse,
or whatever. I know the bullets, yeah, in the metaverse.
which is Fortnite.
And we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yes, and we'll keep doing questionable things as well.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you.
and
Thank
that's
you.
beautiful.
Thank you everybody who came and hung out, and especially people that helped us understand Twitch rules and let us know that we're allowed to call each other fags.
Fag complimentary.
Yeah.
And yeah, and let us know what you want out of like future streams, because I know like the chat has been kind of quiet but pretty steady number of people, so I guess people had fun. But like if you want it to be more participatory, or like I don't know if there's specific topics you want us to talk about, like let us know, because we're still kind of experimenting with this.
Yeah, I think this is definitely the gamut that we want to run, is like us just talking about memes today, and like us talking about actual like, you know, things that Devin has written and like actually going through, and I think that is like very much, we want to be in that space somewhere. You know, so what would you like?
Yeah, we're gonna definitely make it you know, we're starting to gain our regular momentum on it and figuring it out, but
Times
this
too.
felt-
Yeah, because this is what has worked for us just these past 2 weeks, so we want to do it every week, but we don't have a specific time yet, so
yeah, the next couple of weeks, especially with Thanksgiving and Fur Fest, we might need to strategize a different
yes,
plan,
that's
or-
true.
but
we
yeah,
might not be able to do every week for this
yeah,
stretch
or at least not on
especially.
Thursdays.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, and then holidays and stuff. So, but yeah, this was really fun. I love like just kind of talking through this stuff, and yeah, y'all let us know what else you want to see from this, or topics, or cursed things you want to leave on our doorsteps, like a cat leaving a dead rat.
Blessed. Yes, that is. Yeah, that's the energy.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
friends. Figure out how to stop
Talk to y'all
streaming. Okay.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.